When you feel the room, I'm here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. As the Spirit was moving, as the Spirit was moving over the water, Spirit, come move over us. Come rest on us. Come rest on us. As the Spirit was moving over the water, Spirit, come move over us. Come rest on us. Come rest on us. So calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Sing fire and wind. Fire and wind, come and do it again. Open up the gates, let heaven on in. Come rest on us. Come rest on us. Fire and wind, come and do it again. Open up the gates, let heaven on in. Come rest on us. Come rest on us. Fire and wind, come and do it again. Open up the gates and let heaven on in. Come rest on us. Come rest on us. So calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. So calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Calm down, Spirit. When you move, you make my heart pound. When you feel the room, you're here and I know you are moving. I'm here and I know you will feel me. Let's go. God, we continue to give you our hearts. We want to continue in the spirit of worship, Lord, because we feel you moving in this place, Lord, through each and every one of us. As Dan gets set to come up and speak your truth to us, Lord, I pray that you would speak through him. God, I pray that as he speaks, Lord, that we would hear you and that we would understand. We would be ready to move on these words and this truth, Lord. We continue to give you our hearts today, Lord. Thank you, Father. It's in your name.
Well, good morning, everyone. There you go. This is my first time here, guys, so it might be a little. So I'm real excited, first of all, to be here and speak with all of you guys. I was actually going to speak the last men's retreat, but for some reason I couldn't make it. But today I had the opportunity to be here with all of you guys. So, so how you guys all been? Hey, man, I'm real happy to be here with a bunch of group of men, and I want to thank Jeremiah and Chris for giving me this opportunity. And as men, I really want to share something that I think we're all going to relate to, and we're all done, and we've all been part of. And that's kind of like doing our own thing, right? We all want to do our own thing because we're men, right? No one's going to tell us what to do. No one's going to, the wife is going to tell us I'm going to do what I want to do, right? At work, oh, no, I'm going to run things that way I want to run them because this is my position, right? And I think that's just a myth, right? The reality, that's just a myth, man. We're not really like that. But we want to think as men that we can do that. But the reality is we're not. It's just a myth. Unless you have sin in there, right? Sin will cause you to do a bunch of stuff. Sin will cause you to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, a lot of things that you would then literally regret. And the message that I want to share with you guys is dabbling with defiance, and how us as men we get to do that's like a natural thing for us because we're just like that, you know. If you weren't raised in the church like I was, you know, you were always like that, boom, 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 until you grew up, right? And you know what's funny, because I was just talking to Chris, and I'm going to a similar situation with my older son. I have my boys, by the way. My boys are all the way in the back, just two of them. And my oldest one didn't want to come, right? So, and that's one of the things that I want to share, you know, with you guys today. The attitude that we carry ourselves with, the attitude that we have sometimes with certain people, certain things, certain emotions, at home, at work, even at church, right? Right? Something even in church, we even carry that attitude at church. I know I used to carry that attitude at church sometimes. Oh, I'm not gonna do it. I forget that. They can carry that. They can do that. I don't need to be there, right? We always do that, and it just reminds me as we were kids, right? That type of attitude. When you're a little kid, you're like that, right? Mom will tell you, "Hey, go now, later, mom." You know, or dad would say, "Hey, this not later, dad, we'll do it." You know, that's why I like seeing kids like this, man, because that's like the perfect age right there. Because when they start growing up and start asking for stuff, then you're like, you know. So let's pray, guys. Right? Father, I just ask that today, Lord, I just ask you give me the right words, Lord, the right message, and the right words, Lord, to just share this message that can come through, Lord, and that all the brothers that are here, Lord, will be able to understand, be able to also discern and know about what we are all about. Yes, we are men, Lord, and yes, we do our things just as Christians men do, but show us, Lord, show us where we have certain attitudes, where we have attitudes towards certain things. Amen. All right, so let's see if this works. Let's see if I got it right. So, guys, yeah, cool. So the title for this is called Man or Beast, right? In Spanish, if you come from a Hispanic background, beast is bestia, right? Like a bestia, right? And then if you do it, like I would be real rough sometimes building stuff, and I will rage, right? I still do. You can ask my kids. Sometimes I rage. I'm like, I get the hammer and I throw it and everything, right? And then I have to go pick it up, and you know. And then my parents would tell me, es que tienes fuerza de bestia. You have the force of a beast. You always want to break stuff up. And I'm like, hey, it's because I can't control it, you know? But then there's another type of beast in Spanish. You can be a bestia, like a donkey, right? Like burro, you don't understand something, and you're like, they're telling you not to do it, and you still fall into it, and then they call you, hey, yeah, burro, right? So that might be the beast that I'm kind of towards, hitting, not the other one. So check it out. The story that I want to share with you guys is it's from a very common character in the Bible. And the reason that I want to share this with you guys is because I think we all relate to this character and this prophet. His name is Jonah, okay? We're all like Jonah. We all have a Jonah in there, so we got to keep our Jonah out. Let's see if I got it. Yeah, all right, cool. So if you guys don't know who the prophet Jonah is, Jonah was a guy that the Lord, he just woke up one day and the Lord told him, hey, you're going to do this. And he's like, no, you know what, forget this, I'm bouncing. He ran, right? He just ran. I don't think no prophet in the Bible had ever done that except Jonah, right? Jonah, like, immediately, he just ran. I was like, man, that's so crazy. Like, I laughed when I saw that. I was like, what, he just ran? Like, what? And this guy didn't run. Like, this guy ran. He got a ticket. He got on a boat, and then he flew. He didn't flew. He, rode the boat far, far away. And to me, he's like, oh, look at this guy, man. This guy has some cojones, man. Look at this guy. He's like, you know what? I'm not gonna roll with what God is telling me to do. And check it out. It's right there. The first verse of the first chapter of Jonah says, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of, how do you pronounce that? Amittai. Says here, go to the great city of Nineveh, and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. And then check it out. But Jonah ran away. See, this guy did not take the time to think about it or say, hey, you want, Lord? Okay, prepare me, Lord, to say. He just ran away from the Lord and headed to Tarshish, right? Tarshish, and he went down to Joppa. Man, these all these cities to me sound like a Star Wars planet. You know, it's like, right? Right? I'm a Mandalorian fan, but these towns don't sound the same. Where he found a ship and bound to that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard and sailed for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. So the guy just didn't like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it later, I'll do it tomorrow. No, he's like, oh, no, I'm bouncing out of here. He took off quick. You know, I remember when I would be invited somewhere or something, and I would drink, right? I would smoke. And then they'll be like, nah, because then Dan gets too rowdy. Dan does this, Dan does that, right? And then I'm like, well, why you invite me then? You guys know how I'm going to get. Right? Like, don't invite me. You guys know how I'm going to get, right? And I think sometimes us as Christian men, we have that attitude, right? We have it in the church too. We don't have it just at home or with our family or with our wife. We have it in the church too. Hey, we're all going to pray. We're all going to do this. And you're like, I'll just wait till it gets a little hotter outside to come and pray, right? Hey, this brother needs some prayer. Let's do this. Yeah, you know what? The other brothers can handle it, right? Oh, but I have to do this and I have to do that. And then you're like, the wife can take care of it, right? Or at work, right? We all have that one coworker we don't want to work with, right? Am I the only one? We all have that one, right? And you're like, okay, today you're going to work with this person. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I'm calling in sick. I'm not going to be there today, you know? So check it out, Jonah. So he ran. He was in a boat, and then Jonah's funny, man, because he was on the boat. He ran away from the Lord. He's not doing what the Lord. He was on the boat, and then the guy still falls asleep in the boat. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a nap. You know, to me, it's like, wow, man, how disobedient this guy is. You know, in a way, you know, and I relate to that a lot. I really relate a lot because I had an uncle that became a preacher, and he was always trying to put the word. He was always trying to share the word, always tell me, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, Mijo, help me on this. Hey, you can do this, you can do that. And I would always be like, okay, all right. Okay, all right, you know? And this story has a lot to teach us because we learn on how not to be dabbling in defiance, you know, with Jonah. And, you know, the homie ran. He was going to go to, how do you pronounce that again? Nineveh? All right. I see the word 9 there, and then like V. I was like, 9V? That's not how you pronounce it, right? That's just me reading in Spanish, I guess. Nineveh, right? So on the next slide, check it out. So just to make it more clear, here's Nineveh, right? Nineveh. And here's Joppa. So it makes sense, right? Just to go there. Oh, no, this homie went all the way across the map, man. He went all the way to Tarshish, right? Sometimes we're like that, guys. Sometimes we run into problems at the house. Sometimes we run into problems at work. Instead of like, all right, okay, Lord, let's do it. Let's have it. Nah, you want to, Charlie, you're going to walk. You know, you want to walk and you want to just go far away from it. And we're like that on everything we do, man. At work, at home, at you know, everything we do. And I'm saying that because I'm like that. I'm not trying to tell some of you guys already watching me like, hey, this homie knows what's up. And the thing is that's a long trip. If you look on that thing, that's a long, long trip, right? So imagine going all the way over here, and then you want to change your mind. Imagine now you need to travel back all the way back. And to me, it's like, man, that's going to be a bumpy road going back, right? Imagine us right now. We're in the valley. We came up all the way up here. Imagine we had to do that walking. We've got to walk all the way over here. Some of you could be like, oh, no, forget it. I'm not even going. Right? See? So all of you guys are already like, oh, yeah. Right? You give up on that. Right? But if the Lord would tell you in the morning, go up on the hill because there's something to be there for you. Go up on that hill because today you're going to receive something. Or go up that hill because the answers that you're looking for, the trouble that you're looking for, the doubt that you have, the problem that you have can be solved if you go there. Many of us will go, all right, okay, well, I'm going to have to put some other chanclas on because I'm not going to make them with these on, right? But others refuse to do that. Others just like, you know what? No, the brothers there will let me know. The brothers there will tell me, they'll text me, they'll let me know. When you run from the will of God, you pick up your own load, okay? Jonah decided to take off on his own. So now, imagine, now he needs to like get another ticket to go back, and now he's going to have to take all this stuff that he was running away from on his own. But when you're doing it by being obedient with God, he takes on the tab for you. You know, he's like, you know what, homie, here, it's on me. But when you decide to do things on your own, it just gets harder. I learned that many ways, guys, many ways. I can say that, honestly, I've been with Remnant for the past 2-3 years now, solidly been in, where before I would be like in and out of the church, you know? And every time I was back, man, something else happened. I'm like, oh, man, they robbed my car. Oh, something new would always, every time you went back to the church. And now I'm like, you know what, man, I don't think I'm, like, up to that anymore. I just rather stay here and be obedient. Okay? And Jonah decided to do that on his own. So he took that load. So now he had to travel back because Jonah, believe it or not, the homie got a second chance. Okay? But check it out because this is very... So he got a second chance, right? So then here's chapter 3, right? Verse 1-9 says, then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. And he said, homie, go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very large city. It took 3 days to go through it. 3 days just to go through it. Jonah began by going on a day's journey into the city, proclaiming 40 more days, and Nineveh will be overthrown. And then the Ninevites, you see, I'm doing this so you guys get to like practice. The Ninevites believed God. A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on a sackcloth. Okay? So they were saying like, hey, homies, you gotta take your title away from you. You can't say, oh, I'm a teacher. No, I'm a director. Oh, I'm a dude. Hey, he doesn't care about that. And sometimes as men, we're prideful on that. What do you do? Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm this. I'm that. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool, right? But if you were able to present yourself in front of the Lord without using that title, how will you present yourself? What will you grab yourself onto? Right? We don't think that sometimes as men. Until we're like, oh, okay, it's because I got this, and I can do this, and I can do, yeah, but if you don't have that, right? So, following on that chapter says, when Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. He didn't sit in the throne, man. He sat on the dust. This is the proclamation he issued in Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, and I put that in red, right? It says, do not let man or beast, he went all of them. It doesn't say and, it says or. This is from the NIV, and my Bible says that. It says man or beast, right? It says herds and flocks taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink, but let people and animals be covered with sackcloth. That people and animals be covered. Imagine putting a sackcloth on a bull and if he's mad. I'm like, oh, yo. I was just thinking that. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. All right? I really think that many of us are still paying a high price for cruising in that ship or that boat to Tarshish. Tarshish, right? Because if we would have done it with God, God would have paid all that for us. God would have cleared all that for us, all that mess. And all it takes is just that faithful step. All it takes is just that trust, man, of going in there. But because of our prideful nature, that's men, sometimes we're like, I can hold on to it. Oh, no, I can do that. And I really believe that there are too many men that are picking up a very heavy load on emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and even physically loads for their refusal to submit to God. Some of them have scars, man. Scars in their bodies, in their souls. I know I have. I know I went through a couple of things, and I'm like, oh, man, this is really affecting me. And now being a dad, having kids, nobody desires that to their kids, man. You want the best thing for your kids, right? You want the best, or that they become better than you, right? That's the thing that you want. Just like the Lord, right? He wants us to be good. He wants us to be successful. He wants us to do good things. But I believe that sometimes because we have that refusal to submit to God, or we're stuck in that ship. We're stuck in that boat where Jonah was, And that sometimes causes us to stay, You're like neutral. Your spiritual involvement with God stays neutral because it's not moving anywhere, man. You're just cruising on that ship. You're not either going or coming. You're just cruising on it. So Jonah got tossed out of that boat, right? And then a big fish came and swallowed him. You heard that story, right? It's not Pinocchio. It's not Pinocchio. Right? My kids were like, wait, that's like Pinocchio. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. But that's not it. Pinocchio was a bad guy, right? He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't even a boy to start off with, right? He was just a puppeteer, right? And the guy's like, hey, I'm going to hang out with these homies. I'm going to smoke out. I'm going to do this, and that. And then what happened? He turned into a burro, pucas, right? He had these big, long ears, right? And then they were like, what's going on? He's like, I want to be a boy, right? Not a donkey. And like, well, you're heading in the wrong direction, homie, right? and what happens was that Pinocchio was being, being disobedient. And what happened? A whale swallowed him too, right? On the ship. And then what's his name? His dad, Geppetto, right? Geppetto came in, he rescued him and everything. That was a faithful dad, right? For someone that wasn't his son, that was a faithful dad, right? He went through the water, through the ocean, just to go pick him up. And the Lord is like that to us. Sometimes I think, oh man, I would have been swallowed a long time ago. I wouldn't have that second chance. And I feel like the Lord is, in a way, like Geppetto, right? He'll go in there, man. He'll go and he'll get you. But he needs to see that trust. He needs to see that we're really doing it. The first time Jonah took off, he just took off. He's like, hey, no, forget this, right? The second time, he went in there, he told the king, and he's like, all right, cool. And everything obeyed. That's what I like about that chapter. Everyone obeyed. The sea obeyed, the wind obeyed, the fish obeyed, the people on the boat obeyed. Everybody obeyed except Jonah. I was like, Jonah, dude, come on, get the message. I was like, well, dude, why are you making it so hard? Right? So this is what I think of Jonah. when I he's like hanging out and there's a Pinocchio right next to him. Right? Jonah's like, what are you in here for, man? He's like, yeah. Pinocchio's like, dude, you're on the wrong fish. Like, right? And then we have this one here, burro, right? You got that guy right there, right? Sometimes I feel we're like that, right? Sometimes we're all broken, guys. Sometimes we're all depressed. Sometimes we're all put down. Sometimes, people will break you, will make fun of you, will pick on you, will make you whatever, they'll gossip about you, they'll treat you bad. And sometimes the Lord will just go and pick you up. He doesn't care if you look like a burro. He'll just grab you and pick you up, and he'll raise you. And it's on his word, man. Sometimes he's going to pick up the ones that nobody liked or no one, he's going to raise those people up. It's on his word. So when we mess up, then we expect to do one little thing, right? We say we're sorry. And as men, that's a classic, man. And if you don't believe me, if you're married, ask your wife that. Tell her she's not going to tell you. Yeah, you just say sorry and that's it, huh? Yeah, you want me to do you tortillas? And yeah, okay, no. Just because you say you're sorry, it's not going to work like that. It doesn't work like that, right? Right? As husbands, we do that, right? When we mess up, we're like, okay, come on. And she's like, no. You just think that you're sorry and that's it? Everything's going to go away? Everything's nice and pretty now? So we expect to do a little thing and just make that little adjustment, and we have everything running smoothly again, right? And or how many times have our wife said, as husbands, you all men are all like that. You're alike, right? You men are all alike. You expect everything to be wonderful once again, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking, and you're just like, all right, give me patience, Lord, give me patience. Right? So the longer you stay on that boat to Tarshish, the farther and bumpier the ride back is going to be. And you just need to know that the story of Jonah, it's not about Jonah. It was about God just doing his thing. And Jonah just being, rebellious in a way, right? So why did the story of Jonah end on chapter 4? It just ends where he's trying to get this vine. So he walks out of the town, right? And he sits in a hill, and then the Lord is like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little. To me, it's like a tree. I imagine like a little tree, for this homie. He's like, you know what? This guy, yeah, okay, he came back, he did. So I'm gonna put a little shade for him. I'm gonna put this tree, right? It was a vine, a plant. And then the following day, the plant dies. He sends a worm, and the worm eats the whole. And then Jonah gets mad. He's like, hey, yo, what's up? Like, hey, And to me, it's like, that's probably why it ended the way it ended, because the story wasn't about Jonah. It was about how God was trying to do things and about his compassion. The compassion that he still has for us. And we don't see that. Okay? And if you think about it, think of many of the things you've done in the past. Think of the stuff that you've done, or that you were embarrassed about, or that you messed up on, or that you just hate yourself sometimes, or you just want to think of all that stuff. And think how God has come into your life to put you where you're at now. Jonah the vine. So check this out. It says that's like the last verses on Jonah. Jonah's only 4 chapters, so it's very easy to read. It says here, but the Lord said, you have been concerned about this vine, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight, and should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left hand, and also many animals. Is that right? So sometimes I like the description that those verses give, because, yeah, sometimes we're like that, right? We're like little kids still. We're here like, hi, Lord, this, hi, Lord, this, hi, this, and that, and that. And God is like, hey, homie, you got it good. Why are you complaining? Sometimes as men, we got to stop being so pansies and put up our gear, put up our boots, man, put up our stuff, and just go after it. I'm real happy with this church, man, because there's a lot of guys there that I'm learning from, and from some guys I learn stuff, and from other guys I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that, and I feel like maybe I can like put my advice on there, but then I'm back up on it, and I'm like, nah, maybe they're not gonna. Who am I to give advice? Who am I to, And that mentality, guys, sometimes is the one that holds us back. God had compassion on Jonah, even though he did not obey, even though he ran away, even though he put all these people that obeyed him. Jonah was still being, how do you say it, terco in English? Being hard-headed, right? And then when he was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do it, but I'm doing it just because they're telling me, I'm not because I'm expecting, to me, that was like Jonah's attitude. I'm like, all right, And then through that story, everybody obeyed, the sea, the people in the boat, the king, the cows, even the burros, everybody, the warmth, the vine, everybody believed in what God said, except for Jonah. So guys, don't be like Jonah. Don't be afraid. There's going to be things that we don't want to do. There's going to be things that we don't, there's some things that I still don't want to do, But if we make that trust, if we take that step of faith and that step of trust, remember the Lord's going to hold us, man. And the Lord's going to take our tap on everything that we do. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I forgot to call me. Sorry, my bad, guys.
Thanks, Dad. You're so short. We want to stand here and proclaim that you are God. We want to stand here in confidence that we believe that with all our hearts. To be the men that you're calling us to be, Lord. To not be afraid to stand and shout your praises. Be afraid to share your love with others. Because God, we know that you're working in each and every one of us. Regardless of where we are in our lives, you're working there in us. Some of us are going through some hard times right now. Know you're there. We know we can trust you. So we want to praise you. Some of us us are struggling with doubt, who have questions, we know you're there. So we want to praise you. Some of us are filled with joy right now. We want to praise you. So God, take our hearts from wherever we may be right now. As we shout, hallelujah, you are God. shout it from the mountains that He is God. When we leave here tonight, tomorrow, are we ready to go share it with the masses, right? With all those around us, our families, loved ones, our co-workers, our fellow students, whatever it may be. We're going to share it. That He is God. He is love. God, we want to stand here shouting your praises, singing hallelujah because you love us, because you forgive us, because you've given us life and you give us hope and you give us peace and comfort. We can find strength in you and just wisdom in you, Father. Just thank you, Lord. So God, today, just continue to speak to our hearts. Again, through everything we do. Continue to grow us closer to you. We love you, Lord. We thank you for this day again. It's in your name. Amen.
All right, guys. That's good stuff, Dan. Thank